Hey folks, my name is Ravish and welcome back to another video in the series of DevOps Interviews. Now in today's interview, I have a profile with me. So this person is around 5+ years of experience and has 2 years of experience in DevOps and around 3+ years of experience in cloud. This person is Kubernetes certified and I have divided my interview into 3-4 parts. This is 1 hour in total interview. And the first part is the project. So I would be asking him, what exactly do you do in your project? What are your roles and responsibility? Based on that, I would ask him 2 or 3 situation based question. This will go around for 5 to 10 minutes. That would be all. The second thing that I asked him is a few more situation based question, and this will go around 5 to 10 minutes with SonarQube in it. Why do we use SonarQube? What exactly are the nitty-gritties in SonarQube? That was the second thing. The third one is for Docker. In that I talked about around 5 to 10 minutes about Docker, like what exactly do you do in Docker, what are the different questions on that. That's another thing. And the fourth thing is the major thing that I took around 10 to 20 minutes, a bit less than 20 minutes, but that is the most important, the crux of this interview. I went for GCP this time. So this person was working on GCP since a few months and more than a year, I guess, and then he was quite confident on that. So I asked a question on based of that. I gave him scenarios, 3 basic scenarios. These are the scenarios that you generally face in certifications or something, and these are the scenarios that you someone asks you in an interview, so some kind of that. So do take a look for the GCP one. And this went around for 15 to 20 minutes if I am not wrong. And then at the end I asked him a few Kubernetes based questions, and that would be all. So this was the whole interview for today. It is close to 1 hour of interview. All right, so just before moving further, I would like to request that kindly subscribe the channel, because it really motivates me to create more content like this, more interviews like this, and it takes a lot of time to record these videos, work on it, edit and do other stuffs. All right, so kindly subscribe the channel. So let's dive right into the video and let's get started.
Okay. I started my IT journey in 2017 as a sysadmin. I stayed for the first company for about 2.5 years till the end of 2019. Then I moved to a more DevOps role starting from 2020. And I have been moving from company to company to gain experience and to get to know other stacks. So I'm basically a DevOps from 2020, but I have been also freelancing to gain some more experience since I don't have the yearly experience as some people would like.
Okay, okay. So your total years of experience is 5+ years, right?
Yes.
And in DevOps?
DevOps specifically from 2020, so that would be uh, 2 years, and from
Okay,
2020, yes, exactly. So 3 years till now.
okay. And in cloud?
Cloud mainly would be from the time I started the DevOps, so that would be 3 years as well.
Okay, okay. So can you currently walk me through the project that you're working on right now, and what is your roles and responsibilities in that?
Okay, so my current role, I'm a senior DevOps. Mainly we are doing support currently because we deployed the infrastructure a while back. The last big task that I worked on was migrating our tools, including Jenkins, from an older cluster that had issues with volume to a new cluster that I deployed with Terraform. So I moved the Jenkins deployment over, and then also I took the old data volume because we couldn't afford to lose the data that we had over there. And also it included moving our Nexus deployment and SonarQube as well. And starting from next week, I'm gonna work on the Prometheus side of it because we need it as well to be migrated over to the new cluster. And the role also includes a bit of mentoring because we have a junior DevOps, so that is my job is to be her mentor.
Okay, and what exactly do you do in your project? Can you explain me that?
Okay, so the it's not a project per se because we have يعني, it's a day by job. So my responsibilities including يعني includes بقى support and doing some R&D and working on our infrastructure. So the current big task that I have is migrating our tools from the old the Kubernetes cluster to the newly deployed.
Your voice is breaking a lot.
I'm
Hello.
sorry.
Um, yeah. So, in your last work, right? So, can you
Mhm.
explain me the application that you folks are working on? How you were deploying? What is the CI/CD that was happening?
Okay, so currently all of our stack is Java. We have our repos in GitHub, and and all of our pipelines are in GitHub Actions, and the deployment part is done through Jenkins because that was the way that they started with. They were previously doing the repos and the pipeline from GitLab,
Mm-hmm.
but then we migrated over to GitHub. That was about 3 months ago,
Okay.
and all of our pipelines are through GitHub Actions, and the deployment part is through Jenkins and Helm charts.
Okay. Okay. So, let's say this is a situation-based question. Okay. So, let's say you are the only DevOps engineer in your team. Okay. And
Mhm,
the developers are writing code in Java.
mhm,
So, I want you to create a pipeline end to end that the first step should be checking out the code. It should go to production with proper amount of testing, and the security principle has to be invoked, and static testing, dynamic testing if you want. And how will you make sure that this pipeline goes end to end and everything works out? It's a Java based application, could be a Spring Boot application, and runs on the web. So the user who is accessing the application or the customer is accessing from the web. That's all. So I hope you got it. I can repeat it if you want.
Can you repeat it, please,
Okay.
again?
Basically, it's a Java based application written in Java.
Mhm,
Okay. And it's a web based. So people can access it through web.
mhm,
So you have to create a pipeline in such a way that it goes till production. Okay, end to end flow has to be
Okay.
done. You can have multiple environments in that, and the code has to be compiled, has to go to the artifactory or something. Whatever you can push it over here, you can push that. If you want to put
Mhm.
Kubernetes, Docker, or any other technology, you can do that. I want to know each and every stage what will happen in the first stage, second stage, third stage, till it goes to the production. So that's what you have to design. So let me know.
Okay, so it will be a single pipeline,
Yeah,
right?
single branch pipeline. Yeah.
Okay, so if we have a single branch pipeline, we need to deploy it all the way to production. So I guess the first step would be testing the code with the SonarQube.
Sorry,
That
what would be the
will
first step?
to test the code with the SonarQube.
Okay, then, like, why are we having the
Uh,
first step as SonarQube and not the checking out and not the compilation?
just a second, we do the building. In our case, we build a code and then we check it with Sonar. No, the building and the SonarQube, they will be in a single step, as we can have the quality gates check for the requirements that we might put into a place, so that the code can be clean or up to the standards that we have. That would be the first part, and then the second part will be to build it in a Docker container, and then we can push it to our repo. And for this environment, we will say it's over to GCP, and then we can deploy over to the dev cluster. For this, I would say we can have a manual approval step that the QC team can promote if they see that the development branch or the dev environment is up to or sorry if their tests pass in the dev environment, then we can promote to the staging environment, and then the final tests of the QC team can be done there. And then if they see that everything is okay on their end, then they can promote it manually over to the production side.
Okay, so where is the testing happening over here?
The testing, it can be basically the QC team can do the testing on their part, or we can integrate some the testing steps in our pipeline.
Okay, what sort of testing you will do?
I basically we can do a smoke test after the deployment to check if the build and the application is basically running. So that can be done.
Okay, so when you were checking the code quality using SonarQube, right, in the first two steps,
Mhm.
what kind of results does your SonarQube will give?
Okay, it will basically either pass or fail. And if it fails, let's say the quality gates that we did, there will be it will give us a few RL that the dev can click on it, and then he will see the results, or what is the issue exactly of the fail.
Okay, so like what exactly this quality gates?
The quality gates is basically where we set the standards that we need in our code base. Just like uh, actually, I don't know exactly what this the steps in it because the lead engineer in the backend team is the one that is responsible for the standards that he places in it. So I don't know exactly what they do in it, but I know that it breaks that when it breaks, the backend team they will have to check why it failed, and then they will go over the code again, and then they will fix it, and the pipeline will pass this quality gate check.
Okay. So you were saying that your build sometimes passes, sometimes fails because of those quality gates, right?
Mhm.
So what is the criteria of being pass or being fail? Like when does it pass and when does
Uh,
it fail?
okay, it should basically pass all the time, but when it fails, it will be based on the standards that they put in the quality gate. I think just I need to remember one of those times that they failed and the reason. When was it? I think once it failed because of some duplicates in their code base. So the duplicates, it can't be over a certain percentage, and if it passed this percentage threshold, then they would have to redo their code base to avoid this duplication.
Okay. Do you have any idea what exactly is code coverage in SonarQube?
The term, yes, but what exactly does it do? No.
Okay, so like what by the definition, what do you understand?
By the definition, the code coverage, it seems to uh, code coverage. What can it code coverage? I think it can be related to uh, that there are some tests that can cover a lot of the functionalities in the code, or the functions and the classes in the code. I think it can be it can be like this, but again, I don't know exactly the term, or the meaning of that term exactly.
Okay, okay, no problem. So I can see that you have worked on Docker as well, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll start from the very basics. Why do we need Docker, or I can make it very simple. Like, what was the problem that Docker was trying to resolve and has resolved, or has resolved?
Okay, so the main problem would be to separate the environments, just like when we have an application that is Node or Java. If we have a single VM or a server, the thing is, if we want to install several versions of Java or Node, and then we would need to compile each project to a specific version. It would be a يعني hassle. The Docker, it has given us a way to compartmentalize each يعني بقى service, and the dependencies that it would need, and then it would be بقى portable. so that the Docker container can بقى run on any بقى machine basically.
Okay. Have you ever worked on Docker Swarm?
I think it was once or about twice before.
Okay. Why do we need Docker Swarm?
Docker Swarm, basically we would have several nodes that would join the Swarm cluster. So I think it's like a Kubernetes. Uh, it would be uh, it would be for scaling purposes mainly.
Okay. So have you ever written that? Have you ever written a Docker Compose file?
Yes,
Okay. So did you write it in YAML or something else?
yes, بقى يعمل
Okay. So can it be written in JSON?
Actually, I haven't encountered if it would be okay to put it in JSON, but I don't think so because the default is docker dash compose dot YAML. So I don't know exactly if this is possible or not. But I don't think so. It can be done over JSON.
Okay. Okay. So if you ever exit the Docker container, will you lose the data?
If we don't have an attached volume,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think yes, the data would be destroyed.
And how do you attach volume? Do you know the command or something?
I think if we do a Docker run, we can do dash v, and then we would give it the path on the يعني host, and then the path on the container.
Okay. This is your first round or second round?
For what exactly here?
Here, yeah.
No, this is my first interview.
Okay. First. Okay. 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 What do you understand by term known as hypervisor?
Can you repeat that again? Sorry.
Hypervisor. Heard about it?
Uh, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. What exactly it is?
The يعني hypervisor is a software that can take the bare metal uh, resources and then it can be divided over to several other smaller VMs. It's like Chemo and let's say ESXi. Uh, these are like hypervisors.
Okay. 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 So, if we talk about the Docker architecture, so can you throw more light on that? What exactly we know as a client? What is Docker host? What is registry and something? What are the components that it touches? Can you throw more light on that?
Okay, so if I understood this right, Docker is an application that we install. There is a daemon that is running, and then we can build the Docker yani images. And from the Docker image, we can give it a tag, and then we can push it to our registry. It can be a public or يعني a private one. And then we can pull this tag from the repo, and then we can deploy a container from this tag in any environment that has the Docker running, or a Kubernetes cluster. I don't know if this answers your question or not.
Okay. So when your Docker has a client and it talks to Docker host, what are the commands generally you write so that the client talks to the Docker host?
So basically, if I'm at the terminal, I can do Docker PS to check the Docker containers that are currently up. It
Docker PS will
is
show you the number of what, containers or processes?
no, the Docker PS will show me the number of the containers that are up.
Okay, so if there is no container, it will show 0, right? And if there would be container, it will show the number and the details of the container. I'm talking at the
Yes.
point where a client will make a call to Docker host.
Mhm.
So like there are 3 commands for that. You can tell any one. See,
no,
you
I
know, right? We
don't.
have a client, right? Docker client, and we have Docker host, and then it comes to the registry, which is on the web. Both your
Mhm.
client and host probably would be on your local, right?
Okay.
So there is something that clients make a call to Docker host. There is a Docker daemon over there. It gets the call, executes the process. Any light on that?
I don't think you mean we do a Docker login, so I don't think that this is it, right?
Okay, there are 3 commands: Docker build, pull, and run. So whenever you run them, they make a call to
Ah,
Docker
okay.
daemon, right?
Okay.
And this
Okay.
Docker daemon will look for containers, will look for images and stuff, something like that. And this Docker daemon is also responsible for talking to the registry. Registry can has
Mhm.
a lot of stuff: your Nginx, your Ubuntu, your CentOS, or your OpenStack or something. That's how it works generally. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So by this question, so you meant basically we can build, pull, and push.
Run
Okay.
basically.
Okay. Run.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem. Okay. So have you ever done any Docker monitoring in production or anywhere else?
We did it like we used the Prometheus and the node exporters and what was it called that monitor the pods because it was C advisor there was an exporter for the Docker daemon that would show us the number of يعني, containers that are up and the resources that they are currently by using and for the Kubernetes cluster we did like Prometheus and the node exporters, and then it would show up on the Grafana dashboard.
Okay. So in your current project, how are you using Docker?
Mhm. How are we using Docker?
Yes.
We do okay in all of our pipelines. There is a step that would build the Docker container. No, the Docker, يعني, the Docker image, and then it will be pushed to our private Docker registry, and then the specific tag will get deployed in the specified dev cluster. Either it is dev testing and the staging or the production.
Okay. So who is writing this Docker file or something? Is anyone writing or you are writing?
No, يعني, actually, the Docker files they are basically the same, and that they have been there before the time that I started with this company. So they are basic. They have from the top we have a full. There is a base OS image that they are all sharing. And then for each specific service, There are some ENVs that are being set. Uh, that is basically it. They are all basically the same Docker file because of the services are all the same language. They are all about Java. So they are basically the same Docker file.
Okay, okay. So you have worked on GCP a lot, I can see in your resume, right?
Yes.
So yeah, we'll start with the GCP now. So in the world of cloud computing, we have four types of cloud, right? Can you name all of them and what exactly they are?
I know public private يعني يبقى hybrid. I
These are three:
think
public, private, and hybrid. There is one more.
on prem, I think.
On-prem is
But
not cloud.
on prem will be the same as the private. Uh, Actually, I don't think I know the fourth one.
Okay, that's the community cloud basically. But okay, that's
Com
fine. Can you just walk me through like
okay.
what exactly is public, private, hybrid?
Okay, so the public is like when we use GCP services, and then we would pay for the resources or the services. The private cloud the private cloud is basically we can use our servers to deploy our own back cloud that can be not publicly accessible to the general public, or we can use something like new Nutanix. I think they are also they have the private cloud يعني offering.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The hybrid it will be if we are be using both.
You mean the combination?
Yes, yes, the
Okay.
combination of.
Can you give an example of it?
Okay, so let's say we have our databases in our data center, and they are connected over a private VPC over to the GCP instances or the EC2 instances over on AWS, and they are communicating over a private IP address.
Okay. So basically, community cloud is when multiple companies are able to share the same amount of online storage space when using a community cloud. So, for example, there are three, four companies and they are sharing their own space, and you can use that, or maybe for some POCs or something.
Okay.
They might not be secure, might be secure. That totally depends.
Mm.
So yeah, that's
Okay.
that's one idea of it. Okay. With respect to GCP, what did you find that is different from AWS and Azure or other cloud service providers?
Basically, the IAM part of it is very different when we it is basically different from AWS. AWS, I think because I started with it, so I guess it was for يعني um, I think it was kind of easier because I started in AWS. So when I tried to do the same thing over in GCP, it had a different meaning, or it had a different way of being implemented there. So there is a user and there is a service account, and we give it the specific permissions and like this, and that there is a key file that we can authenticate with. So this is the first thing that I found that was kind of the big difference in the in the in the way that they did the IAM there.
Okay, okay. So while working on the GCP, have you heard about Google Application Engine or GCP Application Engine?
Yeah, I think yes,
Yeah.
but I haven't gone to use it yet. But from my understanding is that we can give it a code base, and then it will deploy it on its own, uh, and we don't have to manage the underlying infrastructure at all. I think that is what's done.
Okay. So basically, you will get the immediate in Google App Engine. You can get the ability to immediately run your code. So whatever you are writing, you can run on that. And
Mm.
yeah, you said it right. It's basically serverless, and this will ensure that your app is constantly accessible to the user. So the idea behind it, that GCP will handle all the management of this. So this is
Mhm.
kind of your GCP has a fleet of servers they provide it, and that what happens. Okay, so what is the difference between IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS? And can you give me an example of it?
Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So can you give me an example of
Ah,
it?
okay. Infrastructure as a service is like where is like Google يعني it's like when we in Google when we have the VMs, and then we create them, and then we deploy our services over, but the management will be but we will be responsible in this kind of management. That is IaaS, SaaS, or software as a service. Uh, Software as a service. Uh, it's like Zoom. There we have a service that we consume. So we aren't bothered by anything else. For the platform as a service, it's like Google App Engine, where we only give them the code, and then the deployment part is automated. We don't have to manage it.
Okay, so if I talk about databases, what category does it
Mm.
come under?
The databases, I think, will be SaaS,
SaaS.
because we don't have to manage it. No, we have to manage the users and the permissions and all this. So my guess it can be PaaS, not SaaS.
Okay, okay. Have you ever looked into GCP DevOps or just GCP?
No, GCP DevOps, no, I haven't encountered it.
Okay, no problem. By any chance, have you heard about something known as Stack Driver? In,
Stack driver,
yeah.
it's I think regarding the logging part of the GCP, because we had a task. It was several. It was in the Q3 of 2022, where we had to deploy يعني a Helm chart for the stack driver, so that so that so that we can get the metrics over from GCP.
Okay.
But I don't think I know any more information about this about the stack driver.
Okay. 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 Consider a scenario. Okay. And that I think you have already Kubernetes certified. So this would be related to GKE. Okay.
Mhm.
Now what is happening? There are multiple applications. Okay.
Mhm.
But there is a main application which is written in any language, let's say Node.js. Okay.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
as a DevOps, you have deployed it to the Google Kubernetes engine, GKE.
Mhm.
And this is going
Okay.
in production. Okay.
Okay.
Now this application is making HTTP request to the dependent applications. I mean, there must
Okay.
be other applications that are dependent on it. Okay. You
Mhm.
want to anticipate which dependent application might cause performance issue. How will you do that?
Okay. So
I can repeat the question
it
if you want.
okay, please.
Okay.
Last part. That exactly.
Okay. So there is an application which is written in Node.js and it is deployed on Google Kubernetes engine, GKE.
Mhm.
Okay. And this application is making request to dependent applications, and these
Okay.
requests are HTTP in nature. Okay.
Mhm.
You want to figure out which dependent application can cause performance issue. How will you do that?
Which dependent service will cause an issue, right?
Performance issue, yeah, they can cause. So how will you do that? What would be your strategy as a DevOps engineer?
I would like to anticipate the service that will be the bottleneck for the application mainly.
Yeah, but how would you
Uh,
figure that out? That you understood the question correctly. How would you figure that out?
mhm. Uh, I think there are several ways to doing this. First, we will have to test each phase. We can okay. So first I would set the resource limit for the dependent apps, and then we can do testing like we stress test. We stress test each of the dependent apps, and then we can collect the metrics, and then we will see which one of them can cause a spike in the resources. So then we would increase the replica count for this pod or for this service. So this way we would basically understand we would understand if we would understand if this service that if it got that if it got requests or too high of them, it would cause a spike in our يعني, inter resource side. I don't think يعني, if this answers your question.
Okay, so the thing is, I asked you stack driver before that because when you connect all these applications with stack driver trace,
Mm.
there is an option of inter-service HTTP request. So
Okay.
you can go there and check the bottleneck. I mean, that's straightforward answer to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I
So
didn't
no problem, no
know that
problem.
the stack drivers had this
So
option.
how do
Okay.
you do logging and stuff in your system?
They basically before yani, I came, they had Elastic search, and the applications are throwing hooks to the Elasticsearch. But I would say that in the coming months we can explore the Loki option because it would be much simpler for the deployments and we would and it would be simpler because of the logging inside of Loki is simpler than Elasticstack.
Okay, okay, cool, cool. Um, so I'll give you one more scenario question. Consider you are working on an application and you have to deploy it. Okay, and let's say tomorrow there is a weekend. Okay,
Okay.
so you have deployed this new release on the internal application during a weekend maintenance window. Why I'm saying this, because at the weekend a lot of people are sitting at home, they're not having a lot of access, there is minimal user traffic, right? Now after this window ends, you learn that one of the features is not working as expected, and that happens in the production environment. Okay,
Okay.
so there is an extended outage after that, and a lot of people complain. Your client will complain that this is not working. So, in the haste, what you do is you roll back the changes and you deploy a fix. Okay.
Okay.
Now, for these kinds of situation, you want to modify your release process to reduce the mean time to recovery so that you can avoid extended outage in the future. What will you do?
Uh, hmm.
You want to avoid this kind of extended outages. What will you do?
uh, so in my current in my current experience, there should be the QC team that are responsible for the promotion of the app from the staging to the production site. So basically it will go down to the testing part. So the testing, it should be it should it should cover all of the features that should have been deployed. Uh, but the outage, there shouldn't be a large window because when we understand that there is an issue, we would roll back immediately. So I guess I haven't been in a situation that had this kind of big outage due to production deployment because we would easily go back to the previous tag or version. So let's say.
Okay, do you have any idea of deployment strategies that we have in DevOps?
Yes, there is blue, green, and canary deployment.
So, what exactly is a blue-green deployment strategy?
Blue-green deployment strategy, we have two matching environments, and then we deploy to the first one. If the deployment passes and testing says that the environment is okay, so then we can say that this is the green one, and then it will be deployed to the production. And then and when we try to deploy a new feature, it will go to the other in to it will go to the other environment, and then if the checks pass, it will be the new green one or the new production environment.
Okay, so the scenario that I gave, right, for the outages, you can adopt a blue-green deployment strategy whenever you do a new code release for the continuous deployment server. And you can add one more
Okay.
thing, like if you have a separate continuous integration server or a process, you can add a suite of unit tests in that, so that you can
Mhm.
verify any changes in that. So uh,
Okay.
that's why I was asking that. Okay,
Okay.
okay, okay. So when we talk about GCP, what are all the services that you have worked on?
We have worked on the storage in GCS. We have worked on SQL for yes, we have worked on SQL and GKE and the cloud DNS.
Okay,
These are mainly the services that we are using from day to day.
okay. Have you ever worked on Google Compute Engine API? Heard about it?
I have heard about it, but I haven't had the chance to interact with it.
Okay. When we talk about a cloud architecture, we have multiple layers, right? Can you
Mhm.
talk me about that? What are those layers, or any three or four layers in cloud architecture?
Okay, so are you talking
Like physical
about
layer,
a
and
three-tier app for
n-
example, or what
you
exactly?
can give an example of three tier, but I was just talking about physical layer, infrastructure layer, kind of this thing. What exactly are these? What components do we have in that, with related to GCP as well, if there's any? Any idea about this
Uh,
physical infrastructure platform, application layer, something like that?
uh, I don't think I know what this is, but I don't think but I don't think you are asking about the ISO model, right? So the seven app is so the seven layers.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I don't think that this is it, right?
okay. I mean, no problem. So, have you created any project from scratch in GCP?
In GCP, I have deployed and I have created a cluster from scratch, for example. That was one. Okay, there were two. One that I did manually, and the yeah, other it was from Terraform.
Okay. So you worked on Terraform as well, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. 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 This is my last question with respect to GCP. Heard about BigQuery?
Yes.
What are the advantages
Uh,
of BigQuery, and what does it do?
uh, from my understanding, but يعني I haven't had the chance to deploy it لا يعني لا يعني لا يعني or to interact with it in a production environment. But it can query the SQL databases that we have deployed. We can create a connection over so that we can gather some data, for example, for other uses. That is basically what I understand about it.
Okay, okay. It's basically a substitute for hardware setup for the traditional data warehouse, and it's used for it. So the
Mhm.
benefit, there are multiple benefits. Like there is no need to make a request for backup recovery or something, and it does not need any provisioning of resources before usage. So it assigns them
Mhm.
on the basis of your need and your usage, and
Okay.
it's a fully maintained and managed service. So that's a few things about it.
Okay.
Okay. Last question, sorry, last question on this. Have you ever used binary authorization in Google Cloud?
Unfortunately, no.
Have any idea about that?
No as well, sorry.
Because in GKE and Cloud Run, they use binary authorization to make sure like what is trustworthy for container images when they are deployed. So I thought you might have worked on that. Okay,
Okay.
no problem. Uh, so you are Kubernetes certified, right?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yes, I
So when
got
did
my
you clear that
certificate.
examination?
Uh, I don't remember actually, but it was about, I think, 4 months ago, I think.
Okay, so it was like how many exam does
It
it?
was
How?
like I think it was in the mid of 2022. Because I joined my company now. It was in March, so I cleared it in the next several months. So I think about uh, June or July, for example, I think.
Okay, okay. What do you understand by namespace in Kubernetes?
A namespace is a logical separation of resources or of the yes of the resources. So it's like that we can have several environments in a single cluster.
Okay, and any idea about ingress default backend? What exactly it is?
So for the يعني, ingress part, I haven't I didn't use the default resource. I have deployed the Nginx resource controller and the traffic as well, ingress controller. I didn't use the default one.
Okay, so let's say your pod is not getting scheduled. Okay,
Mhm.
how will you troubleshoot it as a DevOps engineer?
Okay, it's not getting scheduled. I would run the describe command to check exactly why is it not getting scheduled, and then based on that I would take further actions. So we can say for example that the describe command it displays that there are insufficient CPUs. So that would mean that we hit the resource limit for the current nodes. So then I would try to decrease its resource limit, or decrease any other resources of other services that might have been overly allocated.
Okay,
So I think
so
that's
in your
about that.
recent work, have you come across any? What was the like latest problem that you resolved on Kubernetes?
The latest problem, it was regarding to our to the disks that were getting mounted over in the pods, but unfortunately we couldn't understand why, because the disks were working fine outside of the cluster, as we created a VM and then we mounted the disks over, and then we could access all of the files. Unfortunately, unfortunately, the down time uh, for the deployed services there, it was we couldn't troubleshoot it because the services were affecting the devs. So then we had to deploy a new cluster.
Okay, and you did all single-handedly or you took help from someone?
No, this part I did it all on my own.
Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, Amir, I think I'm done. Do you have any questions for me?
For the technical part, I would say I would like to ask any feedback that you might give me that could help me in any of the aspects that we covered.
Okay, I mean, this is one feedback. So, first of all, whenever you talk as a DevOps engineer, you need to
Hmm.
understand the end-to-end flow of any application. Okay.
Okay.
For an example, if I say that I work on a Java based application as a developer, then I would know the architecture of it. As a DevOps, you need to know if I'm using a Java based application, what would be the first step when it gets checked out, the next step when
Hmm.
it compiles, builds, the third step when it
Hmm.
gets tested. Each
Okay.
and every step has to be done. What kind of software it is touching, what kind of technology stack it is touching, where is it
Okay.
going, how are my test cases running on it, and if you're talking about SonarQube, what is the code coverage that is happening, how is it happening, if the code coverage is coming 45% and on the other hand it's coming 85%, what is the difference between these two situations, who is writing the
Okay.
quality gates. It's totally your responsibility to know all of these, and after that how it is getting tested on UAT environments, stage environments, production environments, or a dev environment. What are the branching strategies that are involved, and
Hmm.
how are you deploying it? The deployment strategies, the canary, the the other one, blue green deployment. How is it happening? The thing behind. So that's the very
Okay.
basic thing that you know as a DevOps. And now we are getting cloud also mixed with DevOps. So we expect someone who is into DevOps should know cloud as well. So how is it
Hmm.
happening on the cloud, and what are the services it is touching? What is happening beside it? So as a DevOps, you need to think about that. I mean, it's just not like you clicked one and it's getting deployed and everything is getting done. People are getting
Hmm.
accesses and they are able to run it. No, that's not an opportunity. That's for someone who is like a fresher in DevOps world or 1 or 2 years of experience. But as when you grow in DevOps, you need to know each and everything.
Okay.
So that would be my one
Okay.
feedback that you can learn and improve on.
Okay. 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 So thank you so much.
Okay, yeah. Thanks.